Hey guys, it's SoFlo Josh and I'm over here at Mini of South Miami to film this 2025 Mini Countryman SE for y'all. With that being said, let's go ahead and get out to the exterior and let's talk about this all-electric CUV or SUV, whichever one you want to call it. I want to give a huge shout out to Mini of South Miami for allowing me to film this vehicle. It literally just got here and I'm fortunate enough to go ahead and review this vehicle for y'all. Make sure to go ahead and contact Anthony. He'll be able to assist you in getting into a Mini. So the Countryman SE, now usually when it comes to electric versions of a nameplate, they tend to change the design of the vehicle and not stay true to the ICE version. Well, Mini's different, just like BMW. They like to keep everything cohesive with the design philosophy. Everything looks the same. You know, you look at this vehicle and you look at the ICE version, there is basically no difference whatsoever. The only main difference that you'll ever notice is that the front grille is actually closed off because you don't need as much cooling because there's no engine underneath the hood. But that is the one dead giveaway, and that S badge in the neon green to let you know that you do have an electric vehicle. So let's go ahead and talk about the styling. Now the Countryman has changed. This is its third generation of the model, and quite frankly, when I first filmed the Countryman, I absolutely love the design line which they went for when it came to this one. Now I know a lot of people have criticized Mini for doing this kind of weird squares design for the headlight unit, but I actually quite like it. I like the way the DRLs actually are here designed. As you can tell, you can actually individually change these lights. Let me go ahead and show you really quick. Let's get into the interior, and if we go over here, let's go to the exterior lighting. Oh, right here, customizations. So classic, you have the classic one where it's, you know, completely wrapped around, or you have favored where the top design actually looks. Let's go ahead and go to the exterior and let me show you. It's also the rear tail lights have the design change. So as you see, only the top portion wrap around is actually lit up, and in the rear it's a little bit different as well. As you can see, only the top portion, the middle section is completely blocked off, and then these little indentations right here are blocked off. Now of course you can go for the John Cooper Works version, which will also change the rear lights and the front headlights. So now, just like you saw on the display, only this section right here will light up, and in the rear you actually get the same thing where it's just these it's like an L shape and then you know, upside down L shape. Really like the fact that you have that. Now you can only do that whenever you are stationary and the vehicle is turned off. US regulations cannot you can't do it while you're driving, unfortunately. But overall, really cool design. We have full LED headlights, full LED tail lights with this generation of the Countryman, which is really great because the prior generation we didn't have full LEDs until a little bit after the pre-facelift that they did. So now we get full LEDs completely. Really good. Like I mentioned, the front grille, now this is the iconic trim, so we're gonna go ahead and see that exact same silverish goldish design to it. And as you see right here, it is completely blocked off, and that's the reason why we have the electric version. So of course it's going to be completely blocked off. You have that S badge right here to denote that this is the electric version. You have your forward facing camera right here with all your safety sense technology wrapped into this sensor bar right there. Really nice design overall. Like the front end design of this new Countryman. It's very aggressive, very bold, in your face, and the hood actually sits up very high compared to that of the prior generation. The prior generation kind of tapered off a little bit more downward, but I like how it's more upright, kind of like bold, in your face, you know, punching the wind. And I like that design language all in all. Getting over here to the side, now these are the 18-inch rims that we have over here. Now if you want the maximum amount of range, and we'll talk about range when we get into the vehicle and about the specs and everything, you want to go for these. And the reason why I say that is because they are the smallest rims you can get, and they offer the lowest profile as well for your sidewall. Really good choice to get this. Now range for this vehicle has actually gone up compared to the prior generation. The range of the last generation was about 100 or so, but this one actually reaches 212 miles of range, which is actually pretty good if you ask me. For a vehicle of this size, I think it's quite adequate. You know, this vehicle does compete against the new Chevy Equinox EV that just currently went on sale. The same thing with the Bolt EV. So kind of look at that. If you're going to be comparing anything, you'll be between those two vehicles from the Chevy brand. But styling wise, love the rear end design. I do love these full LED taillights over here. You have the Countryman spelled across. I'm still kind of iffy. I think in the original video I said that I didn't like it too much. I do like the Mini badge right there, nice and big and bold. You have that S badge right over here in the green. Now whenever you do have the gas version, it'll be red instead of green. Dropping it over here, as you can see, it's the exact same design for the rear bumper of the gas version and the electric version. So there is no difference between the two. The only time you ever see a difference is the JCW version of the Countryman. That's of course the ICE version. Now in Europe you can get the Countryman S with the JCW package, but unfortunately here in the States you still cannot get it. Hopefully maybe next model year we'll be able to get one. Right over here you do have your reverse light right there. There is full LED, which is very nice, and you have your rear camera system right there. Opening up the tailgate, as you see, it is a power tailgate, which is great to see. Now as you can see, a lot of space that we have into this rear cargo area. As you see, my backpack right here is off to the side. You can fit it very easily off to the side and put some stuff over here. It's actually quite big. It's a little bit bigger than what you would find in the BMW X1. Now the sad part about the fact that this is the EV version is that we actually lose practicality underneath the storage area. So as you see, that's where the electric motor would be at. So that means we're going to lose a lot of space. The only thing you can really fit in there compared to the ICE version is kind of like your charging system, like you see right here, and then maybe like a first aid kit. But then again, you can also put a first aid kit into this little storage section and this little cubby area as well. You do have grocery hooks right here, so you can go ahead and hook things in there. But as you can see, not a lot of cargo space underneath, but you do have a lot of cargo space when you are putting it into the regular style bin section. We do have a tonneau cover, which is great because, you know, a lot of people have been looking into the rear and stealing stuff, and luckily Mini allows you to go ahead and have that as a standard feature. As you see, you can open this door. Now this doesn't have proximity sensor in the back, it only has it in the front, unfortunately. Wish the Mini offered that for the rear as well, as maybe like an option or a package. But let's go ahead and hear how it sounds. Very solid, put together, nice thick door over here, as you can see. Now let's get into the interior really quick, because it is windy and Florida is very bipolar. As you can see, it is very cloudy over there, but then it's sunny somewhere else. So let's go ahead and continue talking about the interior. Now this has the exact same cloth style finish that we saw on the ICE version. It's carried over here to the EV version, which is expected. I mean, it's riding on the exact same chassis, even though it has, you know, the electric version underneath the hood and, you know, the EV motors. No matter what, they're still going to use the same exact material, so you have that same exact cloth material. Now I know it's a huge issue within the Mini community, and I'm half and half. I understand why there's people that not like it. I think it kind of is a little cheap the way they designed this. Kind of feels like I don't know, something that should not be in a Mini. I know that Mini is kind of more of like the fun, outgoing brand and stuff like that, but I think that this design was not it. And plus, this can easily get dust in it. Very hard to clean these things out as a whole. I don't really think that they thought about the US market kind of with this. They thought more of Europe. So just one thing I've noticed. You do have that exact same gold finish, since this is the iconic trim. You're going to go ahead and have that exact same finish for the door handle release. Over here you have soft padding down here. It's actually kind of like hard padding, but it's not like super soft. Now in the front it's going to be a little bit different. You do have your speaker grills right here as well, some cubby space right there to fill your bottled water. Very nice. Sitting behind myself at 6 foot tall with the seat low to the ground, I actually have enough foot space right there, so that means I can easily fit it underneath there and not have it crushed. and as you could see, probably have about 1.5 to 2 inches of legroom space. And the good thing is, as you can see, it gives a little bit, so you can go ahead and if you are a little bit taller, you can actually hit the back of it. Now it won't intrude into the front seat, which is actually really good. Now this is the JCW seats. We'll talk more about that. So you have a complete finish up at the top. You do have this plastic design over here at the rear, which I'm not a huge fan of. And if you want to go ahead and tickle your driver, you can go ahead and tickle your driver or your passenger, because there's a hole in it. Very interesting. Anyways, dropping it down here, we have 2 USB Type-Cs. We do have functional vents that you can go ahead and increase the fan speed, but you cannot direct it, unfortunately. I don't understand why you can't direct the vents. They just add cooling into the rear occupant area. Very interesting. Down below over here, you do have like a little cubby section. Soft seats. These seats feel fantastic in the rear. They're very cushiony, and yeah, just very good. Love the overall design of it. We do have that same exact you know, cloth style finish over here at the back with that Mini logo right here, finished in blue. Dropping this down, as you see, you have 2 cup holders. Luckily, BMW doesn't have that little flip out one. They just have it right here. Nice soft padding again over here. And then you can also fix your headrest right here. Just super simple. And then you have your 3rd seat belt right here that, as you see, it's a magnet. So it's gonna go ahead and magnetize right there as well. But very nice headroom wise. Even though we do have the panoramic sunroof, I have about probably 2 inches of headroom space at 6 foot tall. And sitting up taller with my back straight, I have about you know, 0.2 of headroom space. Now mind you, I am wearing a hat, so it could be a little bit different, but somebody who's taller, like maybe 6'4", 6'5", will probably have a little bit of an issue. So getting over here to the front, as you can see, you do have the Mini logo over there that illuminates onto the floor, which is very reminiscent of what they do for BMW. Let's go ahead and close the door really quick. Ooh, sounds really good. Very solid sounding thunk. Put together. BMW is very keen on protection, you know, Mini as well, you know, same brand, but very good design and strength to these doors that we have over here. Same exact cloth material that I was talking to you guys about at the rear that we see here in the front section, with the brown going into the blue, kind of flakes off. Harman Kardon's tweeter right there. You have your speaker, and then you have your window switch gears as well with the unlock and lock right there. You have your release for your rear trunk, and then cubby space right here as well to put a bottle of water or some other stuff. Unlike the S that I actually test drove, this one actually has power seats. As you can see, you do also have memory seating, and you have lumbar control, which is really good. You don't have a thigh extension, which is kind of one thing I wish that this car would have a little bit. So if you were a taller person and you had the seat a little bit farther back, you can actually have a little bit of thigh extension. Now getting inside into the front seats, like I said, very solid sounding thunk all across. I like the design that we see here. It's very minimalistic, and I'm a huge person for minimalistic design all in all. As you can see, you do have that 9.4 inch touchscreen display over here that looks fantastic. This is the Samsung OLED display, so that means we're gonna have everything embedded into here. That means that your speed is here, your range, your total miles, and then you can control your climate control as well. You can go from hot, cold, or not, you know, and then you can control your heated steering wheel. There is 3 stages for both the heated steering wheel and the heated seats, and of course the passenger has their own functionalities like the heated seat, and they can actually change their climate control as well, which is actually great. Steering wheel feels really good. You have that nice BMW thick steering wheel at the 9'3" grip with this huge bulge right here on the side. Kind of don't like this bulge. I don't understand the necessity of having this here. It's not something I really care for. I kind of wish that it was more round across the whole side, but I know what they were trying to do. This is a sports steering wheel, so that's why we have a little bit of thickness over here at, you know, maybe your 2 and, you know, your 10 o'clock. Dropping it over here, you do have your button layouts for your media controls over here, your phone. We also do have wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto in this vehicle. And since this is the vehicle that has the active cruise control, that means that you can go ahead and take your hands off the steering wheel. It will keep it in the lane and it will steer for you around corners, but it will not change lanes, unfortunately. I wish they kind of would implement that. Maybe we'll see that for the 2025 model year, but nonetheless, really nice steering wheel. I also like this strap that we see here for like the 3-spoke design, the 2 spokes right here and then the 3rd one right here. Just love the overall design. Very nice how Mini's done it. Same exact cloth material that I told you about that we saw on the door panel area is carried over here to the dash. And like I said, this is one thing that we're gonna have to wait and see what owners are gonna state about the overall availability to clean these things, because dust is very, very common in any kind of place, your house, your car, and the majority of the time you're going in and out of your car and there's going to be a lot of stuff like a lot of debris coming into here. So we're going to have to wait and see how this is going to overall work. You do have a heads-up display that comes standard with all the Countrymans for this generation, and that's because of the fact that we don't even have an instrument cluster here. Everything's just embedded in here. I believe they had to actually put that there due to regulations across the world. So good thing that Mini actually offers that. We have our rear view mirror right here, and then right over here we do have an interior camera. So this is kind of like a Sentry activation. So that means that if somebody tries to break into your vehicle, this camera will record the interior, and you can actually take pictures with this camera. It's like a selfie and so on and so forth. So that's pretty good. Let's go ahead and open up the large panoramic sunroof, and while it's doing that, let's go ahead and talk about these lights over here. They are touch capacitive, so that means you press here and it will illuminate. And then you also do have a hotkey for your light control over here, your interior light control. We do have ambient lighting, of course. That's going to be one thing that we're going to see across all of the Minis, of course. So really nice to see that we have that in here. And then, like I said, you have also a hotkey right here to turn on both lights as well. Opening up the sunroof, as you see, large panoramic sunroof, and it is a functional panoramic sunroof. So that means that this one will open up at the front section, and in the back section is going to be closed off just like every other one. And I believe if you press one more time, look how large the amount of space that you have up here and the front section of the sunroof. I really like the way that it looks. Really good to see that Mini gives you a functional sunroof, and it's not just one of those ones where it's just closed off. It's just letting light in. I like seeing this in a car like that. We do have your switch gear to put it into reverse, neutral, and then drive, as well as battery. Let's go ahead and turn on the vehicle. Actually, the vehicle's not turned on quite yet. It's kind of hard to tell when a vehicle's on or not because of the fact that this is an electric vehicle. So putting it into reverse, as you see, we do have trajectory, and just because, like I mentioned, we have that camera up in the front. We have 360 degrees camera. When you are backing up, since this is an electric vehicle, we do have the humming sound that comes out of the rear, kind of boom, boom sound. So we do have that, which is really good, and you can actually change which way you want to have your camera as well. You could see out the sides, and it will show you kind of where you are in the line, which is really, really cool to see. Putting it into park, let's put that there. Like I showed you, to turn on the engine, you press here, it switches over, and then to turn it off, it's the same thing. There's no other way to switch it off. Your experience modes right here as well. So let's go ahead and go back over here. As you see, you have core, go-kart, green, personal, vivid, timeless, balance, and then trail. So the trail is kind of more like your off-road part, kind of like snow or sand. You do have your balance, which will kind of make it more calm within the interior. As you see, it made that sound. Let's go ahead and keep going up. Timeless will actually give you the same exact aesthetics that you would find in an old 1960s Mini Cooper, which is really cool to see. I like the fact that we have that. We have a vivid over here. You put that on, and it kind of just gives you more of like a disco or electronic kind of music vibe, and it will make the vehicle look a little bit different with the ambient lighting as well, personal as well, kind of just mellows out everything, gives you a nice sunset at the rear. I just like the overall way that, you know, the customizations that you have for Mini compared to that other brands. And then of course, go-kart is your sport mode, so this gives you kind of like the JCW style of your tachometer. And it also shows your battery over here off to the side for your level and, you know, what percentage you have left. Really cool, really good to see that. We're gonna go ahead and go back into core, which is kind of like the primary one, more or less like your standard mode. You do have hotkeys over here as well for your camera system, some buttons right here as well to go ahead and go into your drivetrain and chassis control. You can go ahead and do drive off support, auto hold functionalities in here. Like I said, everything is embedded into here, which is going to be quite hard for some people to get used to when it comes to this vehicle, but nonetheless really good. We do have a hill descent control right there, lane departure warning, and we do have your blind spot detection, which is a great thing because the last generation did not have that whatsoever. You have your max for your front defroster and your max for your rear defroster, and then you have your volume control over here, and you can mute it and unmute it. Dropping it over here in this little cubby section, you have a wireless charger system right there, so you can put your phone and it will notify you over here wireless charging is active, which is a really good thing to see. Happy to see that all in all. And then over here you have more storage, 2 cup holders, and then if we slide this back a little bit, we actually have more storage right here and storage here, 2 USB Type-Cs and a 12-volt socket right there, which is really good. Now this doesn't open up at all, it just slides forward, so if you want more of like a comfortable kind of where you could put both your elbows and have your hands right here, that would be great. Of course I have it lowered so it's a little bit different, you know, I don't have my hands at the right angle, but still really good to see. And we have soft padding right here. Seats, by the way, feel really great. Now this is the JCW seats that I was telling you about, so they're kind of like that sporty style finish, but you can see it has a lot of give right here. You have that Mini logo right there with that little strap design, and then it's very, very nice, very soft padding all across. You have good bolsterings on the top and on the bottom as well. Going into here in the glove compartment, as you can see, it is damp, but it's not lined with felt, which is quite normal for this model. Now let's go ahead and go underneath the hood, or should I say frunk, or is it not a frunk? It's quite interesting what Mini has decided to do with this. We don't actually have a frunk over here, so underneath this cover right here is actually the electric motor. Now this is a dual motor setup, that's why we have it called the all-4. So this one has a 63.8 kilowatt hour battery, and it produces 313 horsepower and 364 pound-feet of torque. Now that's one thing I have a huge gripe about, is that we don't have a functional frunk over here, but since this is based on a ICE chassis, I can quite understand why they didn't do something like that. But let's go ahead and take it in one more time. I really like the two-tone design that we have over here. This is a smoky green. This is an all-new color with this white top. Now of course you can't get only this color, you can actually get a black, so it'll match the black roof rails as well as the black fin antenna over here at the rear. But overall I really love the Countryman design. Now with that being said, let's go ahead and get into the vehicle and let's take it out for a drive. All right, so now we're down here on the main level. Let's go ahead and put it into drive. Very straightforward, and let's go ahead and take it off to US1. So the Countryman, now this is, like I said, the 3rd generation of the Countryman, and it rides on the UKL platform. Now this is the same one that they use for the BMW X1, the BMW X2, and of course this one over here. And honestly, I've always loved this chassis. I had a BMW X2, so I know exactly how this vehicle rides. The handling has been improved for this generation. I did drive the previous generation Countryman, and I quite liked it, but this is my first time ever driving the electrified version of the Countryman. Let's go ahead and, you know, very, very quick. As you see, the torque is instant, 364 pound-feet of torque and 313 horsepower. So really good. Let's go and throw it into the go-kart mode, and let's take it down over here onto these S's over here and see how this thing performs. Immediately you can actually feel the regenerative braking happening with this vehicle. And let's go ahead and go around this box here and let's floor it a little bit. Whoa, holy shoot, wow, that was oh my god, that feels even better than, wow, that feels even better than what the i4 feels like. Holy cow, look at that instant amount of torque coming out from these dual motor setups right here. I am immensely impressed. This is something I was not expecting from this vehicle. It still has that go-kart feeling, even though it's an EV, which is quite interesting because usually there's a little bit of a loss of transition between a ICE version of a vehicle to the electrified version. And let me tell you something, this car is no slouch whatsoever, and it stays true to that mini go-kart feeling, which I'm quite happy to report about over here. And so yeah, there is a little bit of sound coming out from the speakers to make it augmented, like, you know, you go ahead and floor it right there. As you see, it does lift up a little bit up the front. Oh my god, this is hilarious. This amount of horsepower in such a small package, well, it's quite large, I will say that, but for how small this vehicle is compared to that of like other cars within the segment, it's quite laughable. I mean, other cars in the segment are lacking in horsepower and torque. This one, on the other hand, you get all that horsepower and all that torque right off the bat with this vehicle. Now, suspension wise, what I feel, now we have the 18-inch rims over here with the larger profile sidewalls for the wheels, and this is actually great for the vehicle. Now, bumps and everything else like that, you don't feel any intrusion into the cabin, which is a great thing to see. And quite honestly, I would rather choose this than choosing that Tesla over there. That kind of looks a little funny. This actually looks like fun, you know, unique and quirky. You see all those vehicles all around the Teslas, and this, you don't really see a lot of them on the road, especially the EV version. Road noise, the sound that I hear and everything like that, of course, like I said, the augmented sounds off to the speakers, but everything else feels fantastic in here. Not a lot of road noise, which is actually really good. There is some insulation added into vehicles like this to mitigate that whole entire issue of hearing too much of the road noise, which I'm actually very, very happy to state, because a lot of cars actually just will carry on the same you know, insulation that you would find on the ICE version, but there is a little bit of difference with this, because since it's so much more quieter, you don't have an engine underneath the hood, you would actually usually hear a lot of the road sound. But I'm really happy to report you don't hear a lot in this vehicle. Other than that, seat feels fantastic. I love the view out the front with this large windshield over here. You have large side windows all around, so that means you could see out of every single window and feel confident enough to make lane changes or do reverses and so on and so forth. Plus you have 360 degrees camera. Yeah, extremely impressed with what Mini has you know, created with this vehicle, and really happy to go ahead and floor it right there. It pushes you back into the seat and it just lifts off in the front. That is impressive. That is something I want. I want a quirky, fun car that makes those little lifts at the front, which you don't expect at all. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get out to the third story, and let's go ahead and finish this video. So now we're back over here in the main level. Let's go ahead and get out to the exterior, and let's talk about my final impressions of this vehicle. Now, ever since the third generation of the Countryman was revealed, I've always loved it. I think the design of it looks striking. It's very much Mini, even though, yes, they took away the round headlights. It's still a Mini at heart. It still has that go-kart feeling. It still has the customizations where you can go ahead and change, you know, the side mirror caps, or the roof color, or the interior color, the rims, all these little intricate things that make Mini Mini. in this current package. I think it's phenomenal what they've done. The electric version with this dual motor setup, since we have all-wheel drive, I think it's phenomenal. I mean, it has 1 more horsepower over the JCW version, but it has about 40 or so more foot-pounds of torque than that of the JCW one and the regular S version. So think about it for a second. This is a phenomenal package if you're looking for the performance, but you're also looking for the efficiency. Now, like I said, 212 is the maximum range you can get from this. It is 112 miles per hour limited top speed in this vehicle, which is a given. I mean, that's kind of normal. I don't think anybody really goes over 100 miles per hour. Most states over here only allow you to go 80 miles per hour, but nonetheless, I think it's a fantastic package. The design looks great. The interior, I really do like the 9.4 inch touchscreen display. I am a huge tech person, so that's why I really like that. You know, some other people might not like it. This whole entire dash cloth thing, I'm still indifferent about it. I don't really particularly like it. I don't particularly hate it, but I will say, getting over here to the backseat area, I love how much space we have over here in the back. Even though this is an electric version, you know, we still have that ISOFIX down there, so you could fit a baby seat perfectly back here without it even intruding into the front seat back space, which is really good. The only downside, I would say, is the fact that we have less cargo capacity over here at the rear underneath the storage wise. That's one thing I feel like is kind of one of the things that I dislike, but that's normal. There is a rear motor over here, so what happens, you're gonna have to eat into space somewhere. You know, you're gonna have to kind of deal with it. Overall, would I recommend this over the regular ICE version? Yes, I would actually. I feel like both have their pros and cons. The one little con that this one has when it comes to the range is just it's limited to only 212 miles of range, while the regular gas version you can get around 400 miles of range. But then again, you are going to be doing a little bit of city driving. This does have regenerative braking, so you're really not going to have to like charge it too much. But this does have DC fast charging, which is a great thing all in all. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe onto the channel, and I'll continue to pump out videos like this one. Take care. Peace.